Hello everyone! It has been over a year since I last uploaded a video. Whoops! Anyways, today I will once again be discussing the popular Netflix series, The Dragon Prince. Instead of talking about a specific character, however, I will be talking about a situation that is touched on in the show, but never really thoroughly explained. This is a situation that has influenced a massive part of the history of Xadia, and is what's driving the plot of the show itself. This video is mostly for the people who don't feel like picking the story apart just to see the finer details of something they already understand. Disclaimer! Once again, there will be spoilers for The Dragon Prince, so if you haven't watched the show yet, go watch it and then come back to this video. Or don't, and just click off. Or suffer from having the Dragon Prince spoiled for you. Okay, on to the discussion. Before I even try to touch on this situation, I need to go over a few important things for anyone who hasn't watched the show. Will I be telling the entire story? No, absolutely not. I am, however, going to explain some key elements of the show that are important to this nebulous situation that I keep mentioning. The Dragon Prince is, as the title suggests, a fantasy series. The events of the show take place on a continent full of magic called Xadia. Now, in order to properly set up for this discussion, I need to describe what Xadia was like a few thousand years before the events of the show take place. The entire continent was rich in magic and inhabited by magical creatures, including, but not limited to, elves and dragons. All magical creatures in Xadia are connected to one of 6 primal sources of magic, otherwise known as arcanums. The 6 primal sources, in no particular order, are the sun, the moon, the sky, the earth, the ocean, and the stars. There are also normal creatures that aren't connected to any of the arcanums, most notably humans. Future Elm here, real quick. I recorded this entire video, and I have a segment of it edited already, and I realized that I said... oh my god, I can't read, and I said something wrong, just completely wrong. But I'm not re-recording the whole video for a single sentence, so... oh my god. So here's the re-recording. During this time, the elves and dragons coexisted with humanity, although most elven settlements were in the east. Due to their lack of magic, humans struggled to survive and were considered lesser beings by most elves and dragons. Now that we have that covered, I need to gloss over a few other elements and some characters that are important to this situation, and then I'll actually talk about it, I promise. First, we need to establish a basic understanding of Star-Touch elves. Star-Touch elves are the most powerful kind of elf, and aren't limited to living in Xadia, with most Star-Touch elves living in the cosmos. Yes, I pronounce it cosmos. Sue me! Anyways, Star-Touch elves live in the cosmos and are incredibly overpowered. They are immortal, appear as titans when they decide to visit Xadia, have shape-shifting abilities, can see the future, master whatever primal source they want to, have both telepathic and telekinetic abilities, and can only be killed by an archdragon's bite. And they don't even stay dead, they just go back to the cosmos. Anyways, we also need to know who all is important in this situation. We have Erebos, an archmage Star-Touch elf who has mastered all 6 primal sources. Leola, Erebos' roughly 9 years old daughter who loves Xadia and everything in it. The Merciful One, a non-binary Star-Touch elf we know basically nothing about. The Stern One, a Star-Touch elf we, again, know pretty much nothing about. And Anaka Rao, the Dragon Prince at the time, who has something against humans specifically for an unknown, nebulous reason. Oh, and, 3 other Star-Touch elves that we know literally nothing about other than they exist and make up the Council of Star-Touch elves. Okay, now I can finally get into this situation. As mentioned earlier, during this time, humans struggled to survive because they couldn't do magic, and were pitied by the elves and dragons. At some point, before Leola was born, Erebos and the other Star-Touch elves received a vision. This vision promised that if humans were given magic, they would bring death and destruction to all of Xadia. It is a part of the cosmic order, a delicate balance that is maintained by the Council of Startich Elves, that humans are not meant to have magic and should not be given magic. To be completely honest and allow for some speculation, it is a little unclear to me what the exact parameters of the cosmic order are, how and why they were decided on, and if the cosmic order is part of the fabric of the universe or a set of laws that the council created and enforce. But I'll talk about that more later on. Leola, as mentioned before, loves Xadia. She loved humans, elves, dragons, etc. She was incredibly smart and talented as well, likely because she took after her father, and she had full access to his research. Presumably, Leola was saddened by the struggles humans faced without magic and decided to help them without anyone's prior knowledge. This led to her breaking the cosmic order by sharing magic with humans, something that Anak Arau witnesses and tells the Council of Startich Elves about. So, one of the Startich Elves just kind of teleported Leola to the cosmos so she could stand trial while she was in the middle of making rock towers with her human friend while Erebos was inside. Erebos teleported to the cosmos to find Leola and figure out what was going on, and one of the Startich Elves, I believe the stern one, but I could be wrong, explains that Leola gave humans magic and must face the consequences. Erebos obviously wasn't a fan of this and tried to reason with the other elves, offering to take Leola's punishment for her. The council refused, giving him the option to die with Leola, but not in her place. Erebos ultimately decided to live. The timeline is a little fuzzy at this point, but at the very least, a century later, Erebos created dark magic, a sacrificial kind of magic that takes the essence from magical creatures and corrupts the user. Erebos eventually gave it to humans, roughly 1,000 years prior to the events of the show, as a way to rebel against the cosmic order. And, just as predicted, as dark magic rose, death and destruction followed in its path. This led to the continent being divided into two halves, the East and West. Elves and dragons moved east, while humans were driven west. Thanks to the fact that dark magic required magical resources to be performed, the West was eventually bled dry of almost all magic. So, now that I finally have the actual situation covered, I can go on some tangents. As promised, I will be covering the whole cosmic order thing, which means I'll share what I've found and fill in the blanks. From what I've found, the cosmic order is a set of laws that the Council of Startich Elves uphold, one of these laws being that humans are not to be given magic. As for what the other laws are, I do not know, and I do not feel like coming up with universal laws for these stupid elves to enforce. As for the question of whether the cosmic order has always existed or if it was created by the Council of Startich Elves, I have a theory. I think that to a point, the cosmic order has always been a thing, and that the Council of Startich Elves added new laws over time that applied to Xadia specifically, such as the rule about giving humans magic. Why the Startich Elves care to make these rules is a mystery to me, seeing as Startich Elves are noted to be blinded by their own light. They also don't seem to genuinely care all that much about Xadia and the state of it, considering the fact that they are only present for this situation. Now about the situation itself and the intricacies of it. This story is what drives the entire plot. Erebos created dark magic to get back at the other elves. Dark magic was the reason humans were driven to the west. The humans being driven west caused tension at the border. The tension at the border caused a myriad of issues, and humans retaliated with dark magic and caused the events of the show to take place. All of that starts with Leola and what she did. But what exactly did Leola do? The answer is given to us in the show. She gave magic to humans. But I want to make a few things very clear here that will make the title of this video make sense. First of all, Erebos decides that in order to avenge Leola's death, he needed to do exactly what the other elves were trying to prevent with her execution and give humans magic. But Leola already did that, didn't she? Yes, but there's a very important distinction between what Leola did and what Erebos did. Leola gave humans magic out of love and compassion. She saw humanity's struggles and wanted to help them. Erebos gave humans magic out of hate and malice as a way to punish the Council of Startouch Elves for taking his daughter away from him. And Leola didn't create nor give humans dark magic. She gave them access to the primal sources. There's a very distinct difference between primal magic and dark magic. Primal magic has existed, I assume, since the dawn of time. It is natural, woven into the very fabric of magical life itself. In Season 1, Episode 5, An Empty Throne, Rayla says this about primal magic. In Xadia, magic is pretty much in everything. It's no different than saying, everywhere you look, there's nature. It's just part of the vibrance or spirit of things, you know? Primal magic is considered good and natural, pure in a way. In Xadia, magic is abundant in all living things, even the earth itself. Dark magic, however, is considered abhorrent by elves and dragons. Sol Regum even refers to it as death more than once. In Season 2, Episode 1, A Secret and a Spark, Lujane and Callum have this interaction. But I know other humans who do magic. We do not call that practice magic. It's an atrocity. Callum also has a conversation with Claudia in Season 2, Episode 2, Half Moon Lies, about dark magic, where she tries to sugarcoat it, but Lujane's point is still proven. I loved learning magic, and I feel sad now that I can't. But you can, if you want to. I want to learn primal magic, but you have to be born with that magic inside you. That's the great thing about dark magic. You just take creatures that are born with magic inside and squeeze it out of them. Dark magic, in contrast to the primal sources, always requires a sacrifice of some kind in order to work, and it taints your soul with darkness when you use it. There's this whole thing where the first time a person uses dark magic, they experience a kind of fever and have wild fever dreams. This is first seen with Callum in Season 2, Episodes 8 and 9, and again with Viren in Episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Season 5. Yes, primal magic also needs materials to be used properly, but it doesn't require the death of innocent creatures, just the use of plants, stones, and other non-sentient organic material, as well as certain environmental conditions. Dark magic, by nature, is sacrificial and corrupt. Leola loved Xadia and would never create something like dark magic that causes death and corruption. But, as Callum said, humans can't do primal magic because they aren't born with that magic inside them. So, how did Leola give humans access to magic they normally can't access? Simple. She created primal stones. Something I haven't mentioned is the Key of Erebos, mostly because it isn't terribly relevant to this topic. Maybe I'll make a video about it someday, I don't know. Anyways, the reason I'm bringing it up is because Leola had full access to it, as well as the thing it unlocks, Erebos' book. In Season 6, Episode 9, Stardust, we get this whole story given to us by Erebos. During this, we get a token scene of Erebos in what appears to be his home, with the key and the book it unlocks. One thing I need to mention is that the Key of Erebos has been a big mystery in the show since Season 1. It's a cube about the size of one of those foam dice everyone my age remembers playing with in kindergarten, but instead of numbers, it has the symbols of all 6 primal sources on its sides. In this scene, Erebos puts the key into a slot in the front cover of the book, revealing that it unlocks the book to give information about whatever primal source is facing upwards. It is also confirmed that Leola has access to these 2 items when Erebos opens the book to find a drawing Leola made of him in its pages. Erebos is roughly 5,000 years old, so he's had plenty of time to master and research the primal sources. So I'm going to make a bold assumption here and say that everything you need to know about every primal source is in this book. With that assumption made, it is entirely plausible that in her quest to give humans magic, Leola used her dad's book to figure out how to create primal stones, especially since we literally see Erebos make a primal stone in Season 7. Now, I want everyone to take what I just said with a grain of salt, because it is a little unclear if Leola actually created the primal stones herself, or if Erebos made them and she just gave them to humans. But I'm going to go with the first one because I like to theorize. So, on to the real point of this video. If Leola gave humans primal magic, which is considered very normal and good across the board, why was she executed? My theory is that when the Startouch Elves had their vision of humans causing death and destruction with magic, they were unaware of the possibility of that magic not being primal magic. This is very plausible because dark magic didn't exist at the time, and while primal magic is generally considered natural and good, it can still cause mass destruction and kill people. Not to mention that some dark magic spells resemble primal magic to some degree. So, when Leola gave primal stones to humans, the Startouch Elves misinterpreted their own vision and assumed that any magic would bring death and destruction if it fell into the hands of humans. And sure, maybe that's true, but considering that Erebos didn't just give humans greater access to primal magic, and instead created dark magic, my bets are on not. But the Startouch Elves didn't know that at the time, and freaked out, thinking that the Cosmic Order had been broken, and decided to put Leola to death. Now onto a bit of a touchy subject. Should the Council of Startouch Elves reacted the way that they did? In my not very important opinion, no. Leola didn't do anything wrong. She just used her resources to try to help humans have better lives. Instead of pitying humans like the rest of the elves did, she empathized with them, which is especially rare for a Startouch Elf, and decided to help them. There were so many other things that could have been done, such as taking the primal stones away from humans and letting Leola off with a warning that if she tried anything like that again, she would have to face the consequences. But instead, they decided that they would put her, a young child who didn't understand the possible consequences of her well-meaning actions, to death. While I was a little upset about the whole tragic Erebos backstory, I really do like Leola's character and what she adds to the story. I also have more than a few things to say to the Council of Startouch Elves. For one, what the hell are they doing? When a child who doesn't know any better tries to help humans, you literally kill her, but when a 5,000-year-old elf who knows the consequences of his actions and is doing what he's doing very intentionally to get revenge, you sit back and let him do it? Are you kidding me? What was even the point of killing Leola if you aren't willing to stop Erebos? I know you can kill him. I watched you rip Leola out of existence. Is Xadia not worth it now that they already have primal stones? Seriously, what is the problem? I need Stella to open a portal to the cosmos so literally anyone at all can go there and try to get the Council of Startouch Elves to kill Erebos. Again, I love Erebos, but he needs to die or I swear to God, I'm going to commit various atrocities. Anyways, a lot of this is looking at little details and rearranging a few things to piece it all together, with a touch of my own opinion and theories thrown into the mix. I think after this video, I might make a video relating to the primal sources, the Key of Erebos, or something of that nature. When will that video be out? No idea. And I'm not even going to try to make any promises here, because I'm a very busy ADHD gremlin and take forever to do things. With all that said, please feel free to correct me on anything I might have gotten wrong, or share your own ideas about the Cosmic Order, the Primal Stones, or anything else I theorized about. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Hopefully in less than a year from now.